My name is Emma Collins, and this is the story of how I finally learned to put myself first. Looking back, I suppose the breaking point came when I saw my brother Tyler's Instagram post while riding the subway home from work. The post showed a picture of my parents and Tyler standing next to a gleaming Mercedes with the caption reading, "Adult toys acquired with ease. Didn't rely on myself at all, just mom and dad." The Mercedes emblem felt like a knife to my eyes. Just 2 months earlier, my mother Susan had fallen seriously ill, and Tyler had claimed he was too busy traveling for work to come home. I had taken a month off from work, caring for her day and night, and had drained my entire savings account to cover her medical bills. During those difficult days, she had looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Daughters really are the best. You're like a warm coat for my heart, Emma. Our family doesn't have much money, and I'm sorry you've had to sacrifice so much." I turned off my phone screen without responding to the text message my mother had sent earlier about not having money for health insurance payments. When I arrived at my apartment and ordered food from DoorDash, my mother's call came through almost immediately. Seeing her name flashing on the screen filled me with a suffocating feeling. After a moment of hesitation, I pressed the answer button. "Hi, Mom." "Emma, dear, didn't you see the message I sent you? It's already December, and if we don't pay the health insurance premium soon, it will be too late." I closed my eyes, feeling a tightness in my chest that made it hard to speak. After taking a moment to compose myself, I managed to respond, my voice sounding hoarse. "Mom, did you buy Tyler a car?" My mother paused, apparently not expecting me to know about this. She seemed embarrassed, then laughed it off. "Yes, Tyler just got promoted, and without a decent car, people won't respect him." I remembered when I first graduated and started working, driving that old beat-up Honda Civic every day. That car frequently broke down on the road, the air conditioning rarely worked, and during the summer months, I would arrive at the office drenched in sweat. Winter was even worse. The car often would not start, forcing me to leave an hour early and have backup transportation plans. Sometimes, when I worked late, the car would not start in the underground parking garage. I could not afford to call an Uber, so I had to wait until the next morning to deal with it. I had discussed with my parents about helping me with a down payment for a more reliable car. I still remember the troubled expressions on their faces when they said the family did not have money and that our financial situation was difficult. My father, David, had frowned, but eventually agreed. Seeing my parents struggle with this decision made me feel incredibly guilty, and I promised myself I would work harder to earn money and take good care of them in the future. The next day, my father came home riding a used bicycle, looking proud as he said to me, "Emma, you can ride this to work from now on. Dad spent $50 on it." Even though it was just a used bicycle, I was happy because I had always known our family's financial situation was difficult. However, after Tyler graduated and before he even started working, our parents bought him a brand new Toyota Camry, saying it would be convenient for commuting to work. When I came home that day, I was completely stunned. I still cannot describe the feelings I had at that moment. I said angrily, "Mom, Tyler is just a security supervisor at Costco. What kind of promotion is that?" My mother immediately became displeased. "Emma Collins, why are you so jealous? Your brother's promotion is a good thing." It had always been like this since childhood. My parents never seemed happy about my achievements. When I consistently earned A grades on tests, they barely glanced at them. But when Tyler's steadfast D- grades occasionally improved to a C-, my parents would be overjoyed, saying things like, "Our Tyler is so wonderful. Our Tyler is amazing. He improved so much this time. Next time, he'll definitely catch up to his sister." But I never heard such encouraging words throughout my entire childhood. I laughed bitterly, not wanting to continue arguing with my mother, knowing it would be pointless. Mom, please pay this year's insurance premium with Dad first. I spent all my money on your medical treatment and have nothing left. But haven't you been working for a month now? Didn't you receive your salary last month? My hand holding the phone began to tremble slightly, and tears welled up in my eyes, though I held them back from falling. Mom, I need to save this month's salary for food. Next month I have to pay rent, and I don't have enough money right now, my mother said matter-of-factly. But that's next month's concern. The insurance will be canceled this month. From the moment I saw Tyler's new Mercedes today, all the grievances from these years had been churning in my heart. Finally, I could no longer hold back. Mom, if you have money to buy Tyler a Mercedes, don't you have a few $100s for insurance? My mother seemed to feel somewhat guilty, and her voice became unclear. It's because we bought your brother a car that your father and I don't have money left. Ever since I started working, every phone call from home was either asking for things or asking for money. They always said they did not know how to shop online, that setting up bank accounts was too complicated, and that they did not know how to use mobile banking. Eventually, I became afraid when I saw my parents calling. Tears poured out, and I could not speak a single word. Seeing that I had not spoken for a long time, my mother's voice became cautious. Emma, are you angry? Mom is sorry. It's because your parents are useless, and at this age, we're still burdening our daughter. Mom always thinks that if your brother does well, it's good for you too, and it makes you look good. When you get married someday, your family will be your confidence. How many years can your parents live? In the future, you'll still have to depend on your brother. It was always like this. Every time I resisted their favoritism, my mother would act like she was sorry for me, carefully trying to appease me. They were not the kind of parents who completely did not care about their daughter. As a child, I had enjoyed sitting on my father's shoulders to watch fireworks, and had seen my mother waiting for me with an umbrella in the pouring rain after school. So I could never completely cut ties with them, and every time I saw their guilty faces, I would blame myself. They repeatedly apologized to me when I was sad, yet they repeatedly did things that made me sad. I hung up the phone and cried my heart out, lying face down on my bed. The next day, when I returned to my rental apartment after work, the lights were on. My mother was cooking in the kitchen, and when she heard me come home, she called out, "You're home from work. Wash your hands and eat." I sat at the dining table, and my mother put a piece of roasted chicken on my plate. "I saw the takeout containers in your apartment. Don't keep eating takeout all the time. It's expensive and bad for your health. Like your brother, if you came home every day, Mom could cook for you. How wonderful that would be. How much I wished I could come home every day, but ever since Tyler graduated, the home where I had lived for over 20 years suddenly seemed like it was no longer mine. Besides, Tyler had a car and could easily get home from anywhere. But for me to come home meant getting up 2 hours early the next morning to drive my broken-down car to work. I did not argue with my mother and simply said I understood. My mother observed my expression and spoke softly. "Emma, could you help your parents pay for that insurance? Consider it a loan from your parents. We really don't have any money right now." I took a deep breath and put down my fork. "Mom, Tyler also has a job. Can you let him pay first? I really need to pay rent next month." My mother sighed. "You know your brother's salary is limited, and he spends it all every month. He's a young man, and young men always spend more money." I opened my mouth, but the words of rebuttal did not come out. I knew that if I did not pay this insurance, my mother would pester me for an entire month. I said nothing, and after a while, I forced a smile and nodded at her. "Okay." When my mother heard that I finally agreed, her face immediately lit up with a smile. I knew it. Our daughter is the one we can count on. I lowered my head to eat, too exhausted to say another word. On Friday, Tyler's girlfriend Ashley was coming to the house for dinner that evening, and my mother called to ask me to come home early. When I arrived, my father was watching television in the living room, and Tyler was playing video games in his room. Seeing me come in, my mother immediately called to me, "Emma, come quickly, I'm exhausted." After working all day, I was very tired, but seeing my mother bustling about in the kitchen, I still went in to help. "Why didn't you come earlier? My back is killing me." I washed vegetables, feeling helpless. "Dad and Tyler are both free. Couldn't you ask them to help you?" My mother snorted coldly. "What do they know? They would just make more trouble. Your father and brother have never cooked before." But cooking skills are not something women are born knowing. When I was young and my parents were at work, I had to prepare lunch for Tyler. From middle school through college, my mother used to say Tyler was too young, and later she said Tyler had never done it and did not understand. But Mom, I also learned from not knowing to knowing. When Tyler's girlfriend Ashley arrived after a day of hard work, we could finally eat dinner. My mother took out an envelope and gave it to her with a beaming smile. "Ashley, dear, this is your first time visiting our home. We didn't prepare much, but here's some money to buy something you like." Ashley smiled sweetly as she accepted the envelope and called out, "Thank you, Aunt Susan." Then my mother took out another thicker envelope that looked like it contained $3,000 to $5,000. "Ashley, this is a gift from Emma. It's Emma's token of affection." After she said this, Ashley thanked me, calling me Sister Emma. I forced my emotions down and managed a smile that looked worse than crying. A few days ago, the same mother who had come to my house crying about being poor and having no money for insurance was now easily pulling out over $10,000 for Tyler's girlfriend. Thinking about the $1,286 remaining in my bank account, I suddenly felt incredibly heartbroken. Tyler saw his girlfriend was satisfied, put his arm around her shoulder, and said to me, "Sister, you make such good money. When Ashley and I get married, you should contribute at least $30,000 to the wedding, right?" My father joked along. "If you treat Ashley well, when you two get married and your sister is happy, she might contribute $50,000 to your wedding." My hand gripping the fork tightened and my fingertips began turning white. My stomach was churning, but I could only endure it. I knew this had nothing to do with the girl, and I could not embarrass her. After that tasteless meal ended, Tyler drove his girlfriend home. When he returned, I decided to have a good talk with the family. I am a person, not a tool for the family to drain blood to support Tyler. Forget $50,000, I could not even come up with $5,000. When Tyler came home, he headed straight for his room. "Tyler, what did you mean at the dinner table? Where would I get that much money for your wedding?" He paused for a moment, then laughed mockingly. "Come on, sister, I was just joking to lighten the mood. Why are you taking it so seriously?" It was always like this. After the beneficiaries showed their true colors and discovered I was starting to resist, they would tell me they were just joking. But this time, I was not going to put up with it. "Really? I don't think it's funny at all. Since childhood, I've always given in to you. Now that you've grown up, do I have to keep being bled dry by you?" Tyler got angry and shouted, "Why are you talking so harshly? What do you mean by bleeding you dry? What have I taken from you?" I looked at him and laughed coldly. "Isn't that exactly what it is? I give money to Mom and Dad every month and they give the money to you. When have you ever paid for anything in this house? Even when Mom was sick, I paid all the medical bills myself. How about I send you the bills and we split them 50-50? I don't have money for next month's rent anyway." My mother heard us arguing and quickly came out of the kitchen, slapping my arm. "How can you talk to your brother like that? Bleeding you dry, such harsh words. I know you don't have money. Didn't I help you pay for Ashley's greeting gift earlier?" "Helped me pay? What a wonderful phrase. Every time Tyler wanted something from me and I was unwilling to give it, our parents would buy it for him. Then they would turn around and tell me they had given it to Tyler on my behalf. But why should I have to give anything to Tyler? Before I could speak, my mother turned to Tyler and said, "Enough. Your sister didn't mean it that way. When you get married, she won't really refuse to contribute money." My mother coaxed him, and only then did he back down, saying to my mother in an unfriendly tone, "Mom, when will that house be ready? Ashley says she wants to wait until the renovation is finished before getting married." What house? I was shocked. In my memory, our family had always been lower middle class. If they were making a down payment for Tyler's car, I might not find it surprising. But buying a house? Where would my parents get the money? In Ohio, even an ordinary house costs over $100,000. My mother seemed not to notice my surprise and said calmly, "The wedding house, of course. Your brother can't get married without a house. We've already paid the down payment and will help them with the mortgage for the first 2 years." I was stunned. I remembered when I first started working, my mother told me that I would need to save money for my own wedding expenses in the future. "You know our family's financial situation," she had said, "so don't be so extravagant and think more about the future." So after starting work, I calculated every penny I spent, only ordering cheap takeout, wearing clothes for years, never daring to buy snacks, and rarely going to gatherings with friends, contributing all my money to the family. I heard my voice ask hoarsely, "Mom, our family has money to buy Tyler a wedding house?" My mother smiled and said happily, "You silly child, your parents have worked all our lives. Don't we have money to buy your brother a house?" "But Mom, just a few days ago you said you had no money for insurance. 2 months ago you said you had no money for medical treatment. And before that, all those countless days when you cried poverty to me." I opened my mouth but said nothing, turned around and left home, unable to hear clearly what my mother said behind me. Walking onto the street, I cried my heart out, only to realize I had forgotten my bag at home. It contained important documents I needed for work the next day. When I returned home to get my bag, I was about to leave immediately, but heard sounds coming from Tyler's room, where the door was not closed. My mother was inside, speaking to him in gentle, soothing tones. "You silly child, why get angry with your sister? I told you to speak nicely to your sister. Without your sister all these years, where would we have gotten the money to buy you a car and house, all paid in full and down payments? You should be nicer to your sister usually. Her money will all be yours eventually. Your sister is soft-hearted. You'll need her for many things in the future. Renovation, wedding, ceremony, everything costs money." So this was the truth behind all those years, those moments of careful appeasement that made me feel so guilty. They were all my mother's calculations to pave the way for Tyler. I angrily took out my phone and directly replied to my supervisor, Sarah's message from 2 weeks ago. "Sarah, I'm willing to transfer to the Los Angeles headquarters." Shortly after sending the message, I received a reply from my supervisor. "Come to my office tomorrow to discuss." The next day, as soon as I arrived at the company, I went to find my supervisor, Sarah, feeling somewhat guilty. When my supervisor first told me about this great opportunity, I had refused without even thinking about it, because I knew my mother would not approve. During college, I had a boyfriend named Nathan, whom I had dated for 3 years. We had a great relationship and were planning to discuss marriage after graduation. But simply because he was going to California for his career, my mother cried and made a scene, even kneeling before me, saying she would not agree to me going with him. She said I was her only daughter, and if I was not nearby, she would worry. I could only compromise and break up with him. After graduation, I received an offer from a major Silicon Valley company, one I really liked. To prevent me from going, my mother called the company's human resources department and said that if they hired me, she would commit suicide at the company's entrance. In the end, I could only follow my mother's wishes, staying in this small city in Ohio, doing an ordinary job. When I rejected my supervisor's kind offer, she had scolded me in frustration, saying this opportunity was something she had worked hard to secure for me, and that her good intentions were being thrown back in her face. My supervisor looked at me with a mocking tone. "How come you want to go now? Not going to be a mama's girl anymore?" I lowered my head shamefully and promised her, "Sarah, if I can get this opportunity, I will definitely work hard and not disappoint you." My supervisor suddenly laughed. "Emma, do you think opportunities to go to headquarters are like cabbages that you can just throw away when you don't want them and pick up when you do?" Just when I thought I had missed out again, my supervisor suddenly sighed. "I held the position for you for a month. If you want to go, you need to leave next week." "No problem, Sarah. Thank you so much." I bowed deeply to her. She was the best supervisor I had encountered since starting work, extremely capable. But because she had gotten married and had children, she could only stay in this branch as a department manager. As I was leaving the office, my supervisor suddenly said to me, "Emma, your life is your own. Parents bring you into this world, and there are many ways to repay them. But the stupidest way is to give up all the possibilities in your own life for their sake." I thanked my supervisor and looked through the floor-to-ceiling windows at the bare branches outside, feeling an indescribable excitement in my heart. I knew it was the trembling anticipation of a new life about to begin. That evening, I received another call from my mother. After thinking about it, I decided not to decline it. "Emma, are you still angry? Come home for dinner tonight." I had seen somewhere that American parents' way of apologizing was to invite their children home for dinner. I had originally wanted to refuse, but thinking that I was about to go to headquarters, I agreed. I also had some things at home that I wanted to take with me. After eating dinner at home, I went to my room. Because I often stayed at home on weekends, I kept quite a few of my belongings there. When I entered the room, I was startled, thinking I had walked into the wrong place, but the familiar wallpaper told me this was indeed my room. This place where I had lived since childhood suddenly had no trace of me remaining. "Mom, where are all my things?" I shouted toward the door. My mother walked over and said calmly, "Everything is in the basement. I donated the useless stuff and put some things in the basement. Tyler and Ashley are getting more and more serious, and I think good news is coming soon. The new house renovation will take a lot of time, and after it's finished, it needs to air out, so I'm letting them live at home first." I paused and asked, "Doesn't Tyler have his own room?" "You wouldn't understand," my mother said proudly. "When two people get married, they'll have children soon. When the time comes, Ashley can do her postpartum confinement here, so I simply turned this room into a nursery." My heart was beating rapidly, anger and sadness intertwined, and I could only ask one question. What about me? What about me, the daughter? Don't I deserve to have a room in this house? My mother smiled, her tone completely natural. "You don't often sleep at home now anyway, so the room would just be wasted. Besides, once you get married, you'll be even less likely to stay at home. When you're both married, my wish will be fulfilled." My lips trembled, somewhat in disbelief. "So once Tyler gets married, this will no longer be my home, is that right?" My mother paused, and her tone softened. "Emma, it's like this for everyone. Once Tyler gets married, you'll be a guest in this house." I turned and left, tears easily falling down my cheeks, and ran to the basement. There were only a few boxes that had been sorted out, containing my clothes from all these years. My books, yearbooks, toys, gifts from friends had all been cleared out of the house by my mother like garbage. Just like me, after Tyler was about to get married, I had also become eyesore garbage in the house. My mother followed me downstairs, and seeing me rummaging through this pile of things, asked, "Is there anything else you want?" I was afraid there might be something you wanted, so I didn't donate everything. I had lost the mood to continue arguing and shook my head. There's nothing left. Those things that marked my growth had already been cleared away. The dim basement lighting made it hard for us to see each other's faces, but my mother still sensed that I was in a bad mood. She said, "Don't blame your parents. Every family is like this. Besides, we'll always be family." Yes, blood relations made us an inseparable family, but although I had family, I no longer had a home after today. I took nothing and returned to my rental apartment, took out my phone, and booked a flight for the next morning. On the plane, looking at the blue sky and white clouds outside, I exhaled heavily. Los Angeles, the city I had dreamed of since college, I was finally returning here after 7 long years. I set all phone calls and WhatsApp messages from my family to do not disturb mode and stopped looking at their messages. The next day, when I reported to headquarters, I unexpectedly encountered someone who surprised me. "Emma? Nathan!" In the 7 years since we last met, Nathan Sterling had become more mature. "Are you here on business?" I shook my head and smiled. "No, I'm here to start working." He looked surprised for a moment, then said to me, "Congratulations." What a small world. Nathan and I were in the same department, except I was a newcomer, while he had already become the department manager. Actually, during college, Nathan's grades were not as good as mine, and the job offer he received upon graduation was not as good as mine either. But 7 years is enough to change many things. However, everything was still possible. As long as I kept moving forward, now was the best time. The work intensity at headquarters was completely different from the branch office. After being here for a month, I worked hard every day to adapt to the workload. One day, my former supervisor, Sarah, from the branch called me, and her voice sounded tired. "Emma, you need to call your family. Your mother is going crazy looking for you. I told her you resigned and didn't mention that you went to headquarters, but she doesn't seem to believe it and comes looking for me every day. I've done what I can, but Emma, you can contact your family. Just don't let me down." No one understood better than I did how difficult my mother Susan could be, and I felt somewhat guilty. "Thank you, Sarah. I definitely won't let you down." After hanging up, that familiar, suffocating feeling came over me again. I knew that if I did not contact my family soon, all my friends back home would be affected. I took a deep breath and dialed my mother's number. My mother answered immediately, and accusations came pouring out like a torrential downpour. "Emma Collins, your wings have grown strong, haven't they? Not answering calls, not replying to messages. Where did you go? You haven't contacted your family for a month. Your company said you quit, and you moved out of your rental apartment too. Are you trying to kill me? I raised you for nothing, you ungrateful child. When you grew up, you abandoned this family." I listened to 20 minutes of questioning and scolding from the other end, and only when she finished venting did I calmly speak. "Mom, I'm working in Los Angeles." My mother paused for a moment, then her voice suddenly rose. "Who gave you permission to work so far away? Come back right now. Have you lost your mind? I raised you for so long, and this is how you repay me." I waited again for her to finish scolding before continuing. "Mom, do you really miss me? Or are you afraid that with me far away, there's no one to serve you? You can't bear to let Tyler spend money or do work, so you want to keep me tied by your side." Before my mother could refute, I made my position clear. "Mom, I won't go back. There's no longer a home for me there. Besides, I really like this place and will stay here to develop my career. I have my own life to live. You don't need to ask others about me either. I haven't told anyone where I went." After saying this, I hung up the phone. An indescribable courage quietly sprouted in my heart. Perhaps refusing them was not as difficult as I had imagined. A week later, my mother seemed to have truly given up. During that week, I received many messages from people asking what had happened. They said my mother was going crazy looking for me, contacting my friends, classmates, colleagues, and even the landlord of my previous apartment. When everyone found out, they all helped cover for me. This went on for a whole week, and my mother seemed to have really given up looking for me. That day, I was at the company revising a proposal when Tyler suddenly called. After thinking about it, I answered. His tone was very aggressive over the phone. "Emma, where exactly are you?" "What's wrong?" "What do you mean, what's wrong? Don't you care about Mom and Dad anymore? Mom has gone crazy and is threatening to hang herself." After saying this, Tyler switched the call to video. I saw a rope hanging from the bedroom door frame, with my mother trying to put her head through it while my father held onto her legs. "David, don't stop me. Let me die. I've failed you. I gave birth to a daughter I didn't raise properly. After all the hardship of raising her, she just ran away. What's the point of me living?" My father held her, trying to persuade her. "Come down and let's talk about whatever it is. If you die, what will Tyler do? Emma won't be so heartless." Crying, making a scene, and threatening suicide were my mother Susan's classic tactics. Usually, I would give in before she reached the third step. The suicide threat had only been used once before, when I wanted to stay in California after graduation. At that time, I was so panicked that I rushed home regardless of everything, abandoning all my dreams. But this time, I would not. "Mom, I won't go back." As soon as I said this, Tyler became furious. "Emma? Do you have to drive Mom to death to be satisfied?" I ignored him and just said to myself, "Mom, I'm a living person, not a puppet you raised to support Tyler and provide for your old age. Before, I always thought your demands were because you loved me, just in the wrong way. Later I discovered it wasn't like that. You know very well how to love Tyler. Whatever he likes, you buy. Whatever he wants, you give. You never expect anything in return from him and are even afraid you haven't given him enough. But you're not like that with me. You always feel that since you raised me, if you haven't squeezed the last drop of blood from me, you feel like you've lost out. Mom, you know how to love people, you just don't love me. Mom, I won't go back. I'll always be your daughter, but I don't want to be your puppet anymore." After saying this, I hung up the phone. I wiped the tears from my face and was about to go back to work when I turned around and saw Nathan. "Sorry, I didn't mean to listen to your phone call. I was here smoking and didn't know how to interrupt you." I shook my head and smiled, saying it was okay. He suddenly spoke up. "Emma, you've changed a lot. Actually, I resented you quite a bit back then. We clearly had many ways to solve things, but you chose to break up." Nathan and I were very similar people, from families with modest means, but with determination in our hearts. At that time, he had said he could find work in Ohio and settle there. But I refused and resolutely chose to break up. I did not want him to be trapped there because of me. I knew my mother would never allow me to leave her, not even just for work. I blinked and asked him, "Do you still resent me?" He shook his head and smiled. "I stopped resenting you long ago, and I'm even grateful to you. I wasn't as mature as you. I didn't understand that saying about loving someone means not stopping them from pursuing a better future. All I had in my heart then was you, and I just wanted to be with you." I smiled too, teasing him. "So, Manager Nathan still needs to thank me for the grace of letting you go back then." We looked at each other, and suddenly everything felt familiar again, as if those 7 years in between had never happened. As we were leaving the hallway, Nathan suddenly said, "Emma, there's one more thing. People who love you will definitely appear in your future path." I continued working steadily in Los Angeles, occasionally keeping in touch with my parents. But when they tried to continue binding me, I would firmly hang up the phone. My relationship with Nathan was also getting closer and closer. Just when I thought life was finally getting better, I received a call from my father. "Emma, come back." Just as I was about to hang up, I heard my father urgently say, "Don't hang up yet. Your mother is sick, quite seriously. The doctor says she needs cardiac bypass surgery. In the year since you left, your mother has been thinking about you every day, worrying excessively, and her health has gotten worse and worse." I did not know what to say. My chest felt like it had a heavy stone pressing on it, making me feel stuffy and troubled. My mother really was a very persistent person. "Are you still not planning to come back? Do you really want to wait until your mother dies before you're satisfied?" Seeing that I was not speaking, my father's voice carried reproach. I sighed. "I'll come back." Since my mother had such a serious illness, I could not possibly not return. But it definitely was not giving in to her. I just wanted to pursue a better future, not abandon my parents completely. After hanging up, I went to process my leave request. Nathan hurriedly found me. "Emma, are you leaving again?" "No." I shook my head. "My mother is not well. I'm going to check on her and then come back. I'm just taking leave." Hearing me say this, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Can I go back with you?" I looked at him in surprise. "Why do you want to come with me?" "Just consider it me traveling or inspecting the branch office. Anything works. Let me come with you." "Emma, I'm scared. Even if you won't let me, I'll secretly follow you." I paused for a moment, then smiled. "All right." Nathan and I boarded the plane back to Ohio together. There was no longer a place for me to stay at home, so Nathan and I booked a hotel. After putting down our luggage, I went to the hospital alone. When my mother saw me, she said in an unfriendly tone, "Didn't your wings grow strong and you left? What are you coming back for now, to see if I'm dead?" I was too lazy to argue with her and went to the attending physician to understand her condition. After learning that the surgical risks were not that high, I felt relieved. I did not hate her to the point of wanting her to die. Being a patient is very painful. My father and I took turns staying at the hospital to care for her. I did not care whether Tyler came or not. I had only requested a week off, and after the surgery was over, I would have to leave. Seeing that I had returned and was taking care of her as attentively as before, my mother's mood finally improved. During lunch, she suddenly spoke up. "Your brother, Tyler, and Ashley's matter is almost settled, and you're at the right age too. You two getting married and starting families would be my greatest wish in this lifetime. Mrs. Johnson next door has a son who's quite good. He works at a bank, which is stable, and his family has a house and car. In a couple of days, you should meet him." She sat on the hospital bed, eating while observing my expression. In the past, she had never been anxious about my marriage because Tyler needed money for many things, and once I got married, I would have less to give the family. This departure probably gave her a sense of crisis, making her want to find someone to completely tie me down. Tomorrow was the surgery, and I did not want to argue with her for fear of affecting her emotions. I sighed and said, "Let's talk about it after your surgery." Hearing that I was no longer objecting, my mother immediately became excited. "It's settled then. After my surgery, you'll go meet him." Even though the doctor had told me the risks were not high, it was still not a minor surgery, and I was very nervous all day. When I saw the doctor come out of the operating room saying the surgery was successful, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. When she woke up from the anesthesia, the first thing my mother said was, "Emma, go meet Mrs. Johnson's son." Before I could speak, the hospital room door opened, and Nathan walked in carrying gifts. The whole family was stunned to see him. I took the items from his hands and asked, "Didn't I say you didn't need to come? Why did you come anyway?" Nathan smiled. Since Auntie had surgery, I thought it would be better for me to come see her. Seeing our familiar interactions, my mother's eyes scanned back and forth over him like lasers, and suddenly her eyes widened. You're that man from before. Well, I should have known. How could my good daughter suddenly become rebellious? It's because of you, you smooth talker. You deceived Emma once, and now you want to deceive her a second time? Get out of here. You're not welcome here. Don't contact Emma anymore in the future. My mother struggled to get up, and I quickly pushed Nathan outside. Sorry, I didn't expect my mom to have such a good memory. It's my fault. I shouldn't have come rashly. After sending Nathan out of the hospital room, I went back in. Unexpectedly, he returned and bowed to my mother. Aunt Susan, thank you very much for giving Emma life, but she is an independent individual with her own life to live. Parents who truly love their children don't break their wings, but lift them up to fly higher. After saying this, Nathan left. But my mother, because of seeing him, became agitated again after being calm. You two are still together, aren't you? You abandoned this family because of him. I shook my head and looked at my mother calmly. Mom, it's not because of anyone else. It's like you said, I'm a guest in this house. My mother was stunned by this statement, opened her mouth wanting to say something but not knowing how to begin. But since things had reached this point, I did not plan to hide anything anymore. Whether I said it sooner or later, there would be an argument. Mom, I only requested a week off for this return. I'm leaving tomorrow. I've deposited $30,000 at the hospital. Let Tyler handle the rest. Whether it was money or care, this was not just my mother. After saying this, I turned to leave. My mother somehow found the strength to grab a pillow and throw it at my back, screaming, "Go ahead. If you dare to leave, don't ever come back. I'll act as if I never had you as a daughter." I paused in my steps, but did not turn around. Back at the hotel, Nathan was waiting for me at my room door, looking very nervous. "Emma? Is Auntie all right?" I laughed lightly and teased, "Don't worry, smooth talker." He paused, then leaned close to my ear and asked softly, "Did I bewitch you then?" I hesitated, then smiled. Of course, Mr. Nathan's charm hasn't diminished over the years. He gently kissed my forehead. My honor. The next day, I did not return to the hospital and boarded the plane to Los Angeles with Nathan. All day, our hands remained interlocked. Perhaps I will never be able to completely sever family ties, but I am absolutely certain that from now on and in the future, I will never be indecisive again. I will never compromise my own life for anyone. My future will definitely shine brightly. That's the story for today. Hope you enjoyed this incredible tale. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe for more captivating stories like this, and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you for being here. See you next time.